Before we ever learn to read, tie our shoes, or write our names, we learn to count. 1, 2, 3. Simple, foundational, unforgettable. But some of the deepest truths in the Christian life rest on foundations just as simple. And today's verse looks like it's going to give us only 2 steps, but hidden inside it is the third one that changes everything. Hi, I'm Bishop Robert Goslin of the Confessing Anglican Church, and each morning you and I open God's Word together, not just for information, but for formation, to change us, for clarity, and for that peace that only Christ can give. So let's come together. Take a deep breath, settle your heart and mind, and let's begin with today's first word. You know, most children can count to 3 before they ever reach that age. I mean, it's simple. Some of the most important things in life are also as simple as 1, 2, 3. But today's verse only seems to give us 2 parts. Fear God and obey His commands. So how do we get to 3? Well, we start by unpacking that first word, fear. Because it's one of those words that really only makes sense when you understand the context. Let me show you what I mean by using another word we all know. Love. Simple, right? Love. Love can mean appreciation, enjoyment, affection, a covenant commitment, a sacrificial devotion. Same word, wildly different meanings. I mean, if I look at a lady and I say, wow, I love that dress you're wearing. Nobody thinks I have formed an emotional attachment to the dress. If I say, oh yeah, I'd love some pizza. I'm talking about enjoyment. I'm not talking about a relationship. If I say I love my wife, my neighbor, and my bishop, those are 3 very different loves. Context determines meaning. That's why the cultural slogan you hear going around right now, all love is love. That's just so misleading. Of course we can agree that all love is love, but that doesn't mean all loves are equal or that all loves should be expressed in the same way. There are appreciative loves, relational loves, covenant loves, sexual loves, sacrificial love. Lose the context and you lose the meaning. And the same is true with the word fear. Fear can mean being afraid. Sometimes that's appropriate. I remember riding in an open Jeep in the African bush. We were driving along, enjoying the scenery, when suddenly the driver just sort of glides to a stop, turns to us and puts his finger to his lips and points ahead. And I look up, and there's a large pride of lions crossing the road. Now we sat silently as they passed. And once they had, the driver turned and he said, "It is never wise to disturb lions." If we had driven into them, they would have seen us as a threat. And making lions feel threatened is a sure way of meeting Jesus face to face. Now, the fear that I felt wasn't ordinary fear. It was actually more of an awe. It was a deep internal recognition as I looked at them of power and strength and majesty. Another aspect of the word fear is reverence, giving honor. But then there's one special meaning that's used only in relationship to God. It's called the fear of the Lord. And it includes honor, and includes reverence and awe and respect. But it goes further. It's the heart-stopping recognition of God's holiness. It's the astonishment of awe that overwhelms you as God draws near. The fear of the Lord reveals his majesty and exposes our smallness. His holiness confronts our sin. His power reveals our weakness. A Christian writer by the name of Oswald Chambers once said, "The remarkable thing about God is that when you fear God, you fear nothing else. Whereas if you don't fear God, you fear everything else." When the fear of the Lord fills your heart, everything else is driven out. You fall to your knees in reverence and surrender. And suddenly, obedience is not a burden. It's the natural overflow of love. The verse says, "Fear God and obey his commands." If I fear him, of course I'll obey. When his awe fills me and every lesser fear is driven away, how could I not obey? My love for him compels me. His power equips me. His holiness strengthens me, and his very presence emboldens me. Fear God, obey his commands. So how do we get 3 elements from a verse that only has 2? Because the first leads to the second. Fear God, obey his commands. Part 1, fear God. Let his holiness and his majesty fill you with awe. Part 2, obey his commands. Let his power enable your obedience. But you get from 1 to 2 to you. Part 3 is you. You be the one who actually lives it. So maybe it's not 1, 2, 3. Maybe it's 1, 2, be. 1, let the fear of the Lord reveal his awesomeness. 2, let his power and his holiness enable your obedience. 3, be the person the Almighty created you to be. And here's something else that's as easy as 1, 2, be. 1, like the video. 2, follow or subscribe. And 3, be the person who shares it with a friend. But remember, fear God, obey his commands, and be the one God calls you to be.